Hello, hello. Greetings, everyone. This is Anne, and welcome to Utique Bridal and Lifestyle. How are you guys doing today? I hope you guys are doing well. Hi, guys. We have a special guest today. We have Cathy Spain, and I am waiting for her to join me right now. Hi, Cathy. We're waiting for you to join us. So there's a hi Eileen, hi Eva. Wow, hi Blue Dot Sews. Welcome everyone. I'm excited. Hold on, let's see if I can get Cathy on here. I see Cathy. Okay. Okay, Cathy. Hi Carrie. How's it going? Let me know how you guys are all doing. I'm excited about today because we do have a special guest. Waiting for Cathy to join, so thank you. All right, we're waiting for Cathy to connect. So I started these live sessions. I decided to start these live sessions every Friday and have a special guest the last Friday of the month. And it's a way just to make sure everyone's doing good or well during these crazy times, and a way to also just, build our community and to inspire each other and encourage each other during this time. So thank you. I finished it this morning. I just had to add the thank you. All right, Cathy. All right, let me try to add Cathy again. Hi, Ken. There you go.
Hi. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I know it was your first time joining us, and I had to kind of show you this morning. So thank you. Thank you for taking your time today, Cathy.
Thank you.
I'm excited. So everybody, welcome. This is Cathy. She is going to be my special guest today, and we're going to talk about sewing room organization. But before we start, I just wanted to kind of give everyone a background of how we met. We met in 2013 in Susie Algi's Couture class, and you sat right behind me. You were my classmate that right behind me.
Yes.
It was my first time, and I just want to thank you, by the way, for making me feel normal, because you had mentioned that you are a slow sewer at that time, and you're very intentional. You wanted to be intentional about your sewing, and I was like, oh, that's how I've always kind of viewed myself, and I always thought I was weird because I'm a slow sewer, and I always wanted to be very intentional. I can't say that word. When I sew. So when you said that, I was like, oh, I've met my tribe, and I'm grateful that you sat behind me and that I had the opportunity to get to talk to you and better.
Well, I was glad to meet you. You were an inspiration to me too, Anne. Thank you.
You and everyone in there. Today we're going to talk about sewing room organization. I'm sloth-paced Carrie. And the reason why I thought about that was because you had asked me to see my room, and I was like, sure. And when I kind of gave you a tour of my sewing space, I realized I don't think I helped you that much because we have different purposes in a way. Because you saw all my camera equipment, and then so I just realized I don't think I helped you much, did I?
No, you did. I'll show you today.
Yeah. So, Cathy, you are going to give us reasons as to why you started your sewing room organization journey. And feel free to start with that.
Okay.
And then we'd love to have a tour of your room following.
Okay. All right. You ready to go? All right.
Yeah.
First, thank you, Anne. I really appreciate you having me, and thank you for your help because you did help me. And you'll see. But Anne asked me to talk about 10 reasons to organize and keep your place in order. And so because I've just moved to this space, that's been priority for me. So the first reason to keep a space or your sewing room organized is to reduce the visual clutter. I was in a smaller room, about a 10 by 10, and so the floor space was very minimal, and I have a sewing machine table and a cutting table. A lot of my stuff was on the wall. I had a pegboard with the tools hanging, which was nice for the small space, but I had bookshelves and then a bulletin board, you know, for inspiration and stuff like that. But stuff would creep out of the closet, you know, all the storage stuff, creep out onto the floor. I just needed no more visual clutter. So when I moved to this space, we redid the space about a year ago, just took another room. It's about a 10 by 13. So I didn't gain a whole lot, but it's enough. So I've lived in this room with nothing on the wall for a year because I just had to rest my eye, and I'm just getting to the spot where I can put things back up on the wall. So anyway, to reduce the visual clutter was my number one reason. Number two is to keep my projects organized. As we mentioned, I'm a slow sewer, so I can be working on one project and then I kind of get to where I think, well, maybe I'm going to change that. So I have to think about it some, and then I move to something else. But in the other room, I had all the projects out on one table, and it just was too much, you know. And so some things would get put away and I would never return to them. So this way is number three. Third reason is to keep me focused on the one project I'm working on. While I'm working on my slow project, you know, there's 50 going through my head, and it's easy for me to get sidetracked. So it's a good way for me to stay focused on a project. Number four for me, moving over here, was floor space. My wonderful husband made me a cutting table some years ago with drop leaves. And when the drop leaves are up, it's like 6 foot by almost 4 wide. And so it takes up all the floor space. But over here, if I keep myself tidy, I can, Carrie, I can walk around that cutting table, and it's a lot easier to work with it. And when it's up after I've cut, it becomes my work surface of sorts, you know. So that's really nice. Number five is I know where my, pardon me?
Oh, no, I'm just saying, I love the you know, how it folds, and when you're fold it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give you more.
Right. The fifth reason is I know where my tools are. So that was always an issue. I could take it off the pegboard, and then I would lay it down, and then it would be covered with something, you know. And I always was searching, you know, for whatever tool I wanted. So now I have cutting tools at the cutting station, and I have sewing things by the sewing machine. And my pressing station is not up yet, but it will have all the pressing tools around it. So knowing where my tools are. Then number six is
Always, I'm reading the comments as she's like,
good.
always looking for. True, we're always looking for our tools.
I know. I even had an apron where I would put my scissors in, so I think I would know where my scissors are, but I still would lay them places, you know.
I'm sorry. Carrie says pop sockets help find rulers. Yeah, that's right. I remember seeing.
Oh yeah, I have to use those. Good. Thank you, Carrie. All right. The other reason is now I can hang my stash in the closet. I used to have my stash in boxes. You just see Ripper around my
I think we all need a
I think so. What a good idea.
That is.
Somebody should make one of those.
We're going to be making necklaces. That's what
Yes, we are. Oh, all right. My sewing stash was boxes in my closet, you know, and I would forget where they were. So I moved them to the shelf. Well, it didn't help. You know, it was still, I didn't know what I had. So when I was going to make a new project, I would, buy a new piece of fabric. So, so now I have everything hanging. And when I want to make a project, the first place I shop is my own stash, which is one of the goals of I have this year, just sewing down the stash. I do buy something. I'm not completely not buying anything, but that's helped a lot, is to have it hanging. And let's see, oh, I've mentioned my pressing station. I've been using an ironing board, and that's been fine, except that I don't know what to do with my sewing tools. So I have a Pinterest board that had some ideas for pressing centers. And so my husband's gonna help me, and we're gonna make that station and put it in.
I was gonna ask you about that. What did Pinterest help you inspire your room organization? Or
I did look at Pinterest, and it helped me. It helped me with the pressing station. Mostly it's living in here and working in here and seeing how the workflow and the light, so it was both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious because some people like to use Pinterest to organize a room, but I'm the same too. I need to kind of study my space and the workflow as well.
Yes.
A lot of Pinterest, but yeah.
Yes. Yes, me too. I do like Pinterest, and I do look there, but and then it's a jumping off spot.
Yep.
To how it works. Let's see, pattern organization. So I have tons and tons of commercial patterns. And so now I have an organization system for my patterns that help me do that. And of course, my inspiration station is the new thing for me. It's different because used to I would do the mood board kind of things and bulletin boards, but it would get too cluttered for me. And so now I have just a bookcase area where I keep my collection of threads and magazines where I can flip through. I have sewing books that I want to sew with, and I have my studio journal and my notebook that has my patterns organized by section in. And my newest thing, I learned this from our sewing friend Claudia McClellan.
Yes. She got behind you.
Yes, she did. And she's recently reworked her sewing space. And she purchased a piece of fine art to hang in her sewing room. And it's called a Girl at a Sewing Machine. And it's an early 20th century piece, and she just bought a print of that. And I really like it. And I'm going to get something similar. I may get that one, but I might get something else because my inspiration is not so much fashion, but though I like fashion, but I like the making of a garment and all the little nitty gritty, geeky details that go on the inside and
beginning to the end.
Yes.
I remember alterations one day and how it's not our favorite, we don't mind doing it, for family friends, but we like to start from the beginning to the end and see the whole process. I remember talking to you about that.
Yes. Oh, Eileen has art.
Yeah, she has work.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I'm going to add art to mine.
We'll have to see Eileen's one day.
Yes, we will. I would love to see Eileen's. She's this organization.
Yeah.
Well, my last number 10 is to have a welcome space for visitors. So I now have a chair in here for my husband to come and sit and visit with me. My grandkids are getting big enough to learn to sew. And so there's room enough for them to come in here and visit and work with me in here. So those are my reasons.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your reasons. So now I'm excited to see your room.
Oh, well.
I'm curious about how you were going to organize your, you said you had patterns, the PDF patterns or the digital patterns.
Yes.
I'm curious how my daughter is an artist and printed something special for me.
Oh, how nice is that?
We'll have to see your artwork and your daughter's artwork. Thank you for joining us today, by the way, everybody. So yeah, is everyone ready to see her room? Is everyone ready to
Well,
I did.
are you ready? We'll use your imagination here. Let me flip my phone around. Let's see, can I flip my phone around?
Let's see.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Okay.
that.
This is my sewing table. It's repurposed from a, regular desk, and my husband made a larger top for it and cut a hole so my machine sits down in it, so it's flush with the top. And I have my chair, and it's by the window. I keep shears so I can have light. And this is, use your imagination here. This is my future pressing center. And I put, you have all those pressing tools, and I just need something so I can store those tools underneath, and I can roll it in front of the window for light. And over here is my cutting table. And when you saw this before, under the cutting table, I had stuffed all those tubes.
Now you.
So now this is where I put my projects. So each drawer is a separate project, and I have all the items for those projects together in there. And the drawer here holds the cutting tools. The perk about this,
Are we able to cutting?
oh, it's just that.
Okay.
And this is a box of pencils and pens that I use for pattern work. When I'm doing pattern work. So, and rulers and such. But this is a cork covered table. I like it because you can stick pens in it, and because there's enough friction that fabric doesn't slip. I know a lot of people like those firm gridded cutting boards, but I'm not much for a rotary cutter. I like a scissor.
Yeah.
This is my next project. I've been working on a Pietra pants. I got this from Roz last year.
Oh, how pretty.
Yeah, it's a lapis linen. So this is my next project. But this is the doorway going out, and there's a short hallway. I'm thinking about putting a mirror down there instead of that picture, so that I can have a mirror close for fitting purposes and all that. This is the closet where my stash is hanging. Let me open them. So now I can see the fabrics I have. And on the shelves above, I have shoe boxes, the plastic shoe boxes with labels. And up here, or on the top shelf, these are I don't know if you can see, the larger plastic bins with patterns. Like this one is Butterick, this one's Vogue, and I have them all organized by that. And I have a space here for hanging items, and I do have a gridded cutting board for when I do pattern work. But here's where the tubes and the PDFs went in.
Okay, there it is.
This is a concrete form that construction workers use to make concrete posts. I bought this at Home Depot.
Yeah, and you did it with your paintings, didn't you? Because I know you said you.
Yes, my little granddaughters helped me start painting this, and then I covered it with some papers that I had painted earlier. But anyway, I wish I could tell you where I learned this idea. It was either Threads magazine or internet or somewhere. And I said to my husband, what is a concrete form? So, I didn't even know. But hey, it works. But you could do, I put my pattern paper in there, anything on a tube. And so far, my PDFs are here in tubes. So I don't know if anybody has PDF ideas. I don't know. And this is my, I call this my inspiration station. Yeah. So I have my threads down here, and magazines, and books, and my studio journal. And these are some things that friends have made, and I put them there. And my art piece, I'm trying this one out, will go above there.
Did you draw that? Did you draw that?
No, my mother painted this.
Oh.
So I'm entertaining putting this in here so that I can kind of have her with me, So I might do that. And this is my chair. This actually I borrowed from my bedroom. I'm gonna put maybe a slipper chair there without arms, so it just fit better. And we're back to sewing table. So there we are.
Oh, well, thank you. I know you mentioned that you're not complete yet. So you're waiting on items, so you're still in the process of organizing. What items are you waiting on?
The pressing table, I want to use an IKEA piece for the base, and my husband is going to put the top on it. You know, it's just hard to get things from IKEA now because of COVID-19. So I'm waiting, and if I have to wait too long, he may just make something, but it's going to be easier if I get the IKEA piece. And the bookcase that you saw, I got from Target. IKEA has something similar, but it's larger. So I'm just got tired of waiting on the IKEA piece.
Hey,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you, Carrie.
Questions? You had found the perfect size for the your patterns in the closet. What size are those?
Oh, let me look. Let me look. Just hold on a second. Let's get one. It's like oh yeah, here we go. It's a Sterlite. It's it says it's a 20 quart.
Okay, 20 quarts.
Yeah.
Just in case someone else, you know, needs
Right.
to buy some of those.
Yeah.
Shoebox, kind of hanging out the shoebox.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. And also, I also have the folding table. Would you be okay with showing them how it takes up space and how you can fold it down?
Yes.
Because
Sure.
I love it. I love the folding table.
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Nice.
Let me open it and then you can see it, I guess.
See, you have those boxes.
I'll have to open it. Then I'll. All right. Let's see. Here we go.
Yeah. It is a table. And I love how your husband made the cork on top. I never thought about that.
I can't remember where I heard that idea.
Idea.
So, yeah, so I don't know. Oh, Eileen says, how do you organize? Oh, this is how I find my patterns, Eileen. I have a notebook. Well, let me turn this around. It's not fancy, but it has tabs in it. Like this is bottom. Oh, here we go. Bottoms, jackets, outerwear. So I photocopy the pattern envelope. Let's see, like right here. I photocopied the pattern and put it in here. This one is under tops. So when I want to make a top, I look through here at all my patterns. And then I can find, well, I want to make, you know, this Marfie. So then I go to the box labeled Marfie, or Vogue in this case. If I want to make a Vogue pattern, I go to Vogue, and all the patterns are in here in numerical order. So then I can just, because the number is on that Xerox copy, then, you know, it's in here in order. I hope that answered your question.
That's
Yeah, I've done that for several years. I can't remember where I got that idea. I'm sorry, but I'd like to be able to give credit. But my late, you know, like I said, PDFs are my new nemesis. So if anybody has ideas on storing those, I would love. I'm all ears.
Grace says, I love that idea. And mine's just categorized by, yeah, like pants, shirt, you know, in a shoebox, sitting up. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna implement that one. So, yay, I got a new idea. So your sewing room looks like it's inspired by sentimental items and great work.
Yeah.
You have also stations, and everything has a place. It seems like everything
Yeah.
has a place, and I do notice the no clutter, so it is very visually pleasing.
Mhm. Now
Uh,
I can, when I'm working on a project, it'll get cluttered on that cutting table. Um, but, it's still a less visual mess for me to deal with.
yeah, I agree. Do you normally clean at the end of your project, or do you clean as you go, or when do you clean your space?
At the end of a project. Yes. So at the end of a project, I put everything away and then run the vacuum and get all the thread bits up and things like that and the dust. So, yeah.
After I do my toile,
Uh-huh.
because it's a mess after I finish the project. So, like this morning when I finished the shirt, I did a cleanup. So I do 2 cleanups, and I'm with. I love the visual cleanliness. You know,
Mm-hmm.
come on.
I think it's because my brain is cluttered. And so if I have the visual clear space, it's just better for me.
Yeah, I agree. And you become more productive, right?
Right. I actually get finished.
Yes. Because I remember when we were talking last time, I said how decluttering is kind of relative because my space is so much more still cluttered compared to yours. But I really messy, cluttered space and simplified it down to something very visually pleasing for me. And I was just kind of laughing. I was like, wait, I simplified and I decluttered, but it's so relative. It's relative. So I realized, yeah, everybody it's unique to each person. Their sewing space is very personalized, very
Right.
unique, but it's always any ideas for scraps? Great question. Any ideas for scraps?
My biggest idea is I have a big bin and it all goes in there. I keep knit separate from wovens because I sew for my grandkids and they usually sew knits for them. And so I keep those pieces because they're small and I probably can reuse those. I kept scraps, woven scraps, a long time because I used to quilt. But one of the choices I made when I moved over here was to let go of all those hobbies. You know, I always come back to the sewing machine to sewing clothes. So I thought, I just got to get rid of the crochet, the knitting, the quilting. I can only do so much. So,
Valuable. So you kind of have to narrow down, and your goal is to finish a project.
right.
Because I was the same exact way too. I would have so many things going on at once, things that I won't get things done.
I know, right?
And try to keep things organized and finish the project. So rather than have 10 things going on at once, because some people can. I mean, some people have
Right.
that, that they can
You're
do
right.
10 things at once. But when it comes to sewing for me, I am one at a time or I won't get it done.
Right.
So, gosh, thank you so much for sharing your reasons and,
You're welcome.
else in the process of organizing their sewing space or just their design area or their craft area. Let us know, below if you guys are in the process, or let us know if you're inspired by Cathy, because I sure am. I am going to do my patterns like yours. And I don't have as many fabrics as you. I limited myself to 10, and I have 10 hangers for my fabrics.
Oh,
And
good.
if I were to start a project or get new fabric, I have to sew one in order
Good
to
idea. I should
something.
probably think about that. Thank you.
Eileen says, I share my woven scraps with my church for vacation Bible study. Oh, that's a good idea. That's
That
great.
is a good idea.
That's a good idea. Anyone else? What else? Who else? What do you guys do with your scraps? Your fabric scraps? What size do you keep your fabric scraps, or what size do you toss? Is there a certain size you keep and some you toss?
I recently made masks, for the COVID. So I had pieces that were large enough for the mask. Those were about the smallest pieces I kept, and then anything larger than that, I try to hang on to just in case.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I want to move my furniture into
I want to move my furniture into a work triangle.
that's a good idea.
That's kind of like the kitchen, right? How people do a triangle in the kitchen.
So that's, yeah. So that would be your sewing, your cutting, and your pressing. Those are the work triangle.
Is that the work triangle you're going to go for, Blue Dot Sews? The sewing, the pressing, and the cutting?
Cutting.
Yeah,
Yeah. That would be a good idea, I think. Yeah.
good idea. Um, all right. Well, thank you, Cathy, for sharing everything.
You're welcome.
Um,
Thank you for having me.
I know sewing space is very personal, so thank you for being open to space. And I love how you organize it. Um, I love seeing your beautiful fabric. I'm still looking at your
Oh,
Blue Dot says yes, yes.
the
Um,
triangle.
and another reason why, I wanted us to kind of get together and do this is because I wanted to inspire others as well and build this community of encouragement during this time. So thank you for being a guest and for encouraging and inspiring us, Cathy.
Thank you.
And Blue Dot says, thank you for sharing. Thank you for joining us, Diane. Thank you for joining us. And before, if anyone has any questions, I did ask Cathy to, because it's challenging times, I did ask Cathy to share like an inspirational quote for us today before we end it. So what inspirational quotes we have?
Well, I have two, and one of them is just something I like to remember when I'm working in here. It's a Susan Calgie quote. She said, "Muslins never lie." And I know not everybody sews with muslin, but I learned to do that with her, and it's true. Muslins never lie. The other thing I like to be in that inspired me is the Bible in Ephesians says, God has made us what we are.
Yeah.
And so, in these interesting times we're living in, I just thought I'm going to show up in the sewing room and be who I am. So, showing up and doing the work, which my sewing daughter, when I get too scattered and too many projects going and thinking too much, she reminds me, Mom, just show up and do the work. And so that has really helped me and this interesting times we're in, helped me focus on the sewing room and getting it organized.
Yeah.
So
I mean, because of your love, because of our love for sewing, that's a place where we can really relax and get lost in and,
yeah.
something from
Mhm.
from who we are and what we are,
Mhm.
It's a gift. It's a
Yep.
gift. Thank you for sharing those quotes,
Oh, you're welcome.
scripture. And before I let Cathy go, I just wanted to remind everyone, Carrie's like, high five, yes.
Thank
One
you.
that, if there's someone, let's see, Eileen, can you share your Ralph Ricci gray linen dress? I saw some of that gray silk for lining. Do you have the Ralph Ricci gray linen
I
dress?
show it to you. It is not finished. I am sad to say, but I'll show it to you. It's further along than it was in the.
Oh, look at the details.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see. It's all this top stitching.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and the waist was, I mean, this was really an eye into the designer. I have to put the zipper.
When did you start this project?
Oh, I'm so embarrassed. What is this? 20, it was my last Susan Calgie class. Who was in that class with me?
And then
It's been like 3 or 4 years, something like that.
on that, the top stitch.
But, now that I'm in here and it's organized, I'm going to get to it. It's on my list.
Since you're still in the process of organizing, and I had told you I would like for you to come back when it's completely done with all your new
Okay.
well, you'll be wearing that dress as well for the next tour.
Yes, right? Maybe so. Thank you, Eileen. I feel okay.
Like we said, we're all slow sewers, so the process. But yes, thank you so much, Cathy. And before I let you go, you guys, everyone go, just a kind reminder to just call somebody, text somebody, FaceTime someone, and just check up on them and see how they're doing. And making sure, they're doing well, or if not, please send them my way. I hope to be a resource. I would love to be a resource for someone if they need any type of help. So, but thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Either ladies. Everybody on their couture project still. That's fine for sure. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Cathy. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me, Anne. Thank you.
And everyone, thank you so much for taking the time out of y'all's busy day to join us. Love you all too. Join us next month, the last Friday. Carrie will be on to show us couture pinning.
Yay, so, Carrie!
Yes. Thank you, and you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you, Carrie.